and welcome to this yoga practice today. We're going to begin by finding a comfortable seat position of your choice, whether you sit cross-legged or sitting up on your knees. Or for the first portion here, you're welcome to lay down if that's most comfortable for you. Wherever you are, find length through the spine. This is where our main energy channel, our Sushumna, lies. So by having an extension through the spine, this is allowing for energies to flow with as much ease. So once you have found your comfortable position, we're just going to begin by taking your awareness to your breath, feeling expansion in your lungs and your belly as you inhale in. And as you exhale, soften and release. Inhale, fill up, fuel up. Exhale slowly, surrender. So just begin by making your exhalation longer than your inhalation. We're calming the nervous system here. We're connecting to the present moment now and grounding in this moment. From the points of where your body connects to the earth beneath you, you can use the visualization of roots extending out from your body and going deep into the core of the earth, knowing that we are not separate from nature or this earth. We are an extension of this earth. Continue to stay connected to your breath. And we're going to come into my favorite yoga pose here by simply lifting the corners of your mouth into a smile. And I know that this can feel uncomfortable for many people, but just be open-minded, give it a go, see how this feels. And from here, we're going to take our hands together to kiss our heart center. Gently bow your head to your heart, taking a moment here to honor yourself and thank yourself for showing up in this moment for this practice. Trust your journey, trust that you are meant to be here and that you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. From this place, we're going to inhale, reach our arms all the way up towards the sky. And on an exhale, we're going to come into a gentle twist. So I'm taking my left hand to my right knee, right fingertips behind me, gaze over the shoulder. And if you were beginning in a lying down position, come on up to your seat and you can join us here in this gentle spinal twist. On your next inhale, reaching it back up towards the sky. And then exhale, floating your fingertips towards the opposite side. So my right hand is coming to my left knee now. Left fingertips behind me and gaze over your left shoulder. So feeling into this twist of the spine, I like to use the vision of rinsing out a sponge. So this position, this spinal twist, it's helping us detox ourselves of any unwanted energies that no longer serve us. May they be blessed and released through your exhale. From here, inhale, reach it all the way back up to the sky. And exhale, float your fingertips all the way down. Fingertips connect with the earth. breathe in, lift and spread your wings wide open. Open up your heart space. Let it shine. And on an exhale, we're going to crisscross our arms, either arm on top of the other, and really work your fingertips towards your inner shoulder blades. Give yourself a big squeeze. Give yourself a big bosey, a big hug. Really feeling into this opening in the back heart space. You may be in stillness, or you might find a little gentle sway or rocking from side to side. When was the last time you gave yourself a hug or gave yourself a loving embrace? Cherish and honor this moment, this sweet embrace with your sweet self. And from here, we're going to spread our wings nice and wide again, opening up through the heart center. And on an exhale, crisscross your arms again, opposite arm coming on top this time. So really reaching your finger blades. Reach your fingers towards your shoulder blades. Cherishing this moment, the sweet love which you're giving yourself. And from here, open up and exhale, float the fingertips down. We're going to come into a child's pose now. So taking your hands out in front of you to connect with the earth. Knees come back underneath your hip points. And so we've got some variations that we can work with. We can either zip our legs nice and tight together, either curling through the toes or coming flat on our feet, sending the hips back, reaching the arms forward, or tucking our arms by our body. We also have the option from our tabletop position with our knees nice and wide. We can take our big toes together to kiss. Take your knees out even wider, as wide as your mat. Send your hips back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward and melt your heart down to the earth. So finding your variation of child's pose today. And take a moment here to connect with your inner child. Maybe this is a regular practice for you, or maybe this is something new to you. What words of encouragement and of love would you give to your child self in this moment? Once you feel complete with checking in with your inner child, we're going to walk our hands back up towards our body. Knees and shins come parallel to one another, and we're going to rise on up onto our knees. So knees are hip distance apart. We're going to come into a camel pose. So again, there's variations that we can work with here. Beginning by taking our hands to our low back, opening up through the chest and the heart. Take your gaze up, opening up through the throat. We might be here. We also have the option to lower our hands down to the soles of our feet, As we push our pelvis forward, head drops all the way back. So wherever you are, this is a big heart opener and throat opener. So we are opening our heart space, we are sharing more love, and we are open to receiving more love. By opening up through the throat, this is allowing us to express ourselves with no shame. This is allowing us to speak our truth and to speak with kindness. So we're opening up these energetic channels in this pose. And when you're ready, bring your head back over your heart center, spine nice and lengthened. And we're going to drop our hands in front of us back into a tabletop shape. So wrists come underneath our shoulders, knees under our hips, fingertips spread out nice and wide. We're going to move through a little cat-cow. So on an inhale, we're going to drop our belly, open your heart, take your gaze up. And as you exhale, push away from the earth, claw through your fingertips, and arch your back like a witch's cat. Inhale, belly drops, take your gaze up. And exhale to arch your back, push away from the earth. So feel free to continue to move through this motion, connecting the movement to breath, breath to movement. You might want to embody some intuitive movement here, perhaps rocking, swaying your hips from side to side. You can also move them in a circular motion or a figure of 8 or infinity sign. So feel into your body and move in ways which serve you. Wherever you are, we're gonna curl through the toes if it's comfortable. Otherwise, just keep your feet nice and flat. Curling through the toes, sending the hips back, and sitting up on your toes. And even take your fingertips to your toes to connect them with the earth. You can keep your knees out a little bit wide, hip distance apart, or it might be easier for you to ground yourself with your thighs zipped up together. Loop the shoulders forwards, up and back. Inhaling as you bring them up towards your ears and exhaling as they come round and back. And if you are up on your toes, it might get a little bit intense. So you're welcome to come on down onto your feet. But also know that there is a difference between discomfort and pain. So taking a moment of stillness here while we acknowledge this in this moment. If something is feeling uncomfortable to you, then you're probably doing something really, really good for your body. It may be a stretch that you really need to do. You may be pushing yourself a little bit, but in a really good way. But if something is painful, like a sharp pain or a dull ache, listen to your body, bring yourself out of it, and find something that feels good for you. Wherever you are, in your seated, in your kneeling position, we're now going to start to draw some spirals with our nose. So we'll begin by drawing clockwise spirals and making your spirals bigger and bigger. So as if you're starting in the center and then taking it out even wider with every circular motion. And then once you've gone as far as you can go, we'll take it anti-clockwise now, taking that spiral in, feeling into any clicks or crunches in the neck. It's all welcome. We're here to work with it, not against it. And then taking your head back to stillness over your heart center once you've moved through this motion. And from here, we're going to take our hands back to the earth, back to our table. Extend one leg out behind you, curl through the toes, and just gently rock back and forth. Stretching through the toes, the ankle. Stretching throughout our hamstrings. And from here, we're going to step that foot all the way up in between our hands. Feel free to use your hands to guide your foot there. Walk your knee back about an inch or so. Again, you have the option to stay curled through the toes, or you might come flat on that foot. It just changes how it feels on your knee, so just see what feels best for you. From here, we're going to rise up into our lunge. So first of all, find your roots, get connected, hugging your thighs into your center, into your midline. And once you feel grounded and connected, you have the option to either stay here, hands resting on your thighs or at your hips, really shining your hip creases forward. You can reach them all the way up. You also have the option to move through a little flow. So from here, from my extended arms, I'm going to exhale as I bend my elbows, coming into a cactus arm kind of shape, opening up, expanding through the heart, and inhale to reach it back up. Exhale, bending the elbows, and inhaling as I reach. So if you're finding your flow, then connect your breath to your movement. If you're in stillness, stay connected, stay grounded. Find your drishti point, find a focal point in front of you that you can rest your gaze on to help ground you and stabilize you in your current position. From here, on your next exhale, we're going to float the fingertips all the way back to frame that front foot. Send your hips back, straighten through that front leg, toes point up towards the sky, and bringing your nose down towards your knee, your shin. And it doesn't even have to get close, but just moving with this intention, feeling the stretch all the way along that leg through the hamstrings here, keeping the toes active and engaged, pointing up to the sky. Make sure you bring the breath. And from here, planting the sole of that foot back to the earth, framing it with your hands, stepping it back, tabletop position. So from here, we're going to go straight onto the other side. So curling through your opposite toes, extending that leg out behind you. And then just gently rocking back and forth. Giving our feet some TLC and appreciation. Nurturing from our soul. And from here, stepping that foot in between our hands. Guide it there if you need to. Step that back knee back. And from here, inhale as we rise up. So adjust your body if you need to. If you need to bring that front foot or the back leg in a little bit. We're not on a tightrope here though. Our legs are not completely in line, but we're hugging our thighs in towards our center. So once you've got grounded here, find your variation of your lunge, whether your hands are on your thighs, on your waist, or reaching up. Perhaps you wish to flow and move through some movement, so exhaling as you bend your elbows, cactus arms. And inhale to extend and reach it up. So whichever version you have chosen, maybe, just maybe, on one of your exhales, you can sink even deeper into your lunge, opening up further through the groin, the pelvis, through the inner thighs. And on your next exhale, we're going to float our fingertips back to the earth. Extend through that front leg, hip comes back, shining those toes up towards the sky. Bring your head down towards your shin, towards your knee. And whenever we are experiencing discomfort in a yoga pose, when we are really challenging ourselves, use your breath as your guide and see how much you can surrender and let go through your exhale as you soften even deeper. We're going to bend through that knee, plant the foot on the earth, step it back to our tabletop position. From here, we're going to walk the hands out an inch or so in front of where they are. We're going to curl through our toes, send our hips up and back to a downward facing dog. So we're extending through the spine. We're lengthening and strengthening throughout the entire body. This is a full body experience in this pose. Inner elbow creases shining forward, clawing through the fingertips nice and spread out. You're welcome to bend one knee at a time. Ease yourself into this pose. From here, we're going to bend our knees as we look in between our hands at the front. And we're going to slowly make our way for our feet to meet our hands. So just taking baby steps. And exhale as you fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. Let your head hang low and get heavy. And your feet can either be tight together or hip distance apart. We're going to clasp each of our elbows and gently rock side to side. Feeling into the blood and the energy flowing in the opposite direction in our body. From here, taking the fingertips back towards the earth. On an inhale, we're going to lift and lengthen halfway. So your fingertips, your hands can come onto your shins or your thighs, or fingertips might stay connected to the earth. We're just welcoming a nice neutral spine. And on an exhale, float the fingertips back to the earth, head hangs low. And inhale, root to rise. We're gonna reach all the way up. Fingertips coming up towards the sky. And exhaling, palms kiss. Bring them down through your heart center. Breathe in fully. And exhale slowly. From here, we're gonna inhale, bend your knees. Reach your fingertips all the way up and exhale to fold. Step one foot back and the other, coming into a plank pose. So welcoming the activation of our inner fire, igniting our core, perhaps even welcoming a shake or a tremble. And this reminds us that we are strong and we are alive. From here, on your next exhale, we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. Belly flops are welcome. Spread your fingertips out beside your shoulders. On an inhale, loop your shoulders up and back, open your heart, rise up cobra. You can stay nice and low to begin with, if this feels good for you. Or you can rise further up. And exhale to float it down. We're going to make our way back to a downward dog. You have the option to rise up into a plank and send your hips up and back. You may also want to move through a tabletop position and then come to your downward dog. And also, if a tabletop position feels better for you, you're welcome to come into this shape rather than a downward dog. Feel free to bend out through your knees, or stillness may feel better for you. On your next inhale, take your gaze in between your hands. Step your feet all the way up to meet your hands, and exhale, fold. Inhale as we lift up halfway, come to a nice neutral back, and exhale to fold. Inhale, lift up, reach up, palms kiss overhead, and exhale, bring them down through heart center. Inhale, bend your knees, reaching up, and exhale to fold. Planting my knees on the earth to come into a tabletop position. I'm going to crisscross my ankles, send my hips back, and come into a seated position. So take a moment here to place one hand, on top of the other hand over your heart. And you may wish to lie down for this section, that's absolutely fine. You may wish to choose to stay in your seat. Wherever we are, we're lengthening through the spine. And we're connecting to our heart. And just notice in this moment how your heart is feeling. You may feel a physical sensation with your hands over your heart. It may feel warm, it may feel cool, it may feel soft or spiky. You may see colors or a vision. You may hear the whispers of a voice, a message of guidance. Just allow anything, any message that has to come up for you in this moment. Be open and be curious. And let it come to you. Be open to receiving. Lifting the corners of your mouth into a smile. And taking your hands to kiss at your heart center. Thank yourself again for showing up for yourself for this practice. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or evening ahead. The light in me honors the light in you.